Welcome to Real Talk with Yolanda Frazier. Yolanda is an ordained minister, author, counselor, motivation, and inspirational speaker. She is the CEO and founder of Enough International, whose mission is to help women and young children through education, empowerment, and encouragement. Join Yolanda as she shares her failures and success, and most importantly, how God gave her life hope, freedom, and the ability to walk in her purpose.
Well, hi, Susan. How are you? Happy Memorial Day.
It was a wonderful weekend, and your hair, girl, you got it going on.
Thank you. I wanted something different, so we got to keep them guessing.
Looks good.
Yes. We have to be versatile as women, right?
That's right.
Yes. So I am so excited. The last time we were on the podcast together, we were talking about the 4 Ps,
That's right.
Planning, preparation, process, as well as purpose. And, it's really, really excited, in our journey, in the seasons that God has in our lives. We can do all those things ourselves, but guess what? He has great plans for our lives, and He is the author and finisher of our faith, and He writes our story. And so it's just really, really great just to talk about just, transparent things about our lives, and just share with one another. I think that's so awesome to be able to do that.
We all have the same struggles,
Right.
I got to be honest with you. I peeked ahead and I looked at the topic we were going to do tonight, and it's like you peeked in my diary or something. Cry, journal, scream, laugh, run. Well, not the run part. Or eat ice cream. Eat ice cream. That's like that's a daily journal out of my diary each day.
Yes,
so, I'm, as an emotional, I'm I get emotionally hijacked, and and I can so relate to the title is on. I can't wait. Because I feel like I'm going to absorb and learn a lot through this.
Well, the wonderful thing about this title, Cry, Journal, Scream, Laugh, Run, or Eat Ice Cream, each one of those were actually a small segment of my life's journey. And I experienced each one of them. And the awesome thing about it is, even now, today, I still experience them randomly, right? But the wonderful thing about it is I just wanted to capture each one of those particular aspects and just be able to have a little dialogue about each one of them in our journeys in life. And the wonderful thing about it is in all of them as well, I end up finding Christ. I end up finding Him in each one of those experiences. And so when I think about crying, I can remember as a young girl growing up, never fitting in and not knowing that I was intentionally not supposed to fit in. And so I spent a lot of time not understanding why, right? Why do we constantly, I guess part of it is not knowing that the uniqueness brings more value to us. But instead, we like to dummy ourselves down, or we're trying to morph ourselves into being someone or being like others instead of really being who God called us to be, especially and beautifully and wonderfully made, right?
Because we really, really want to fit in. I don't want to be ostracized.
Exactly. And so sometimes I would find myself crying, not understanding why, being different and not fitting in. But, in all of that, we know that Jesus and God, both they intertwine with me, but He catches our tears in a bottle, right? And all my tears and my cries and my concerns and my issues, He was right there and hearing every one of them. And oftentimes I didn't even know, but He heard every one of my cries. And the wonderful thing about it is crying it can be such a release, and oftentimes we don't see it as much, but sometimes we just have to be able to get all of that emotions out of us and not let it stay in us and implode us or make us bitter or angry. You know what I mean? So sometimes
it's so true.
It's good to cry out.
It is. Sometimes when you get done, there's almost like a relief, like, okay, I can move on now. All right. I just had to get that out. Yeah.
And it's interesting because, sometimes we laugh and tears come, so it's such a mixed emotion, but they're there. He gives us those emotions. He gives us tears of joy, and we have tears of sorrow sometimes, or tears of pain, but all of that comes from Him. And so the beautiful thing that God has shown me throughout my life is just to embrace it all.
The process. It goes back to the process of last week.
Right. Yes,
I love it.
Yes. It goes back to the process.
let's talk about journaling because, oh my gosh, I have had so many people say, Suzanne, you should journal. It's so good. It's so cathartic.
Yes.
It's so healthy for you in so many ways. And I don't know.
You-
Where do you come from that?
So I come from a place I love journals.
Mm.
And believe it or not, I used to journal and I didn't know it was journaling. You
Really?
know, yes, I used to, as a little girl, I'd always have tablets, I'd always doodle, I'd always write little notes. As little girls, you're writing notes. But then also in my creative writing class when I was in high school, they used to tell us, one of our teachers would have us journal, right? Write down what you feel today and how was class and just different things like that. But you never really saw it as important, right? You never really
Right.
saw it as something that was really relaxing, really pouring your heart into it. But oftentimes I would find myself writing all the time and writing little love letters to God and talking to Him. So rather than just
Mhm.
pray right out, I would write my prayer to Him, like, "Hi, Daddy, today sucked. Today was horrible."
And he gets it. He goes, I know, I was with
I
you. It
know.
did.
Exactly. And so the majority of all my life, I've always journaled. I still have some of the tablets around. I can look back in some of them as far back as like 20 years and see things that I was experiencing, thought processes I was going through. Like, what in the world was I thinking? Why did I say that about this person or that person? And, why was I
Mhm.
feeling this way? And why was I in the pits, waddling
Mhm.
around, what was me mindset and attitude? And so journaling is so awesome. I'm in the process of developing a whole portfolio or a whole product line of journals. I'm really excited about them.
Mm.
And I think journaling is just a way for us to pour our heart out onto paper. It's also a way of holding ourselves accountable. And it's a good way to be able to track our emotions and put them in writing and then go back and really assess, what was I thinking? Where was I? What was my thought process? Where was my mindset during this time? And how can I grow from that, or how can I improve?
Or look how far I came.
Yes,
Mhm,
definitely,
mhm. I have a
yes.
tendency to go, nothing's changing. I'm sinking. Probably if I journaled and I saw, no, it's been slow, but it's been a steady progress.
Yes, well, I like to do different crafts and things, and I happened to go on YouTube the other day and see a new form of journals. They're called junk journals, and junk journals are really thick, and you're able to put all these beautiful little whatnots and trinkets and like a card you may have gotten from your son, and it's the most beautiful one ever. It's just a smaller form of almost like a scrapbook, but they call them junk
Yes.
journals. So not only
No
do you
kidding.
save that little unique piece of paper or phone number or something that your granddaughter or child may given you, and you're able to
Yeah.
put it in pockets of that journal, but you're also to write about it and things like
Mhm.
that. So they're very thick. Most people make them homemade. You can't buy them right now.
Okay.
People are making some of them where you can buy them, but it's actually a craft that you can make them where the outside can look like a quilt almost, and make it
Oh,
really
man.
versatile. So I'm gonna
I
make
love
one.
that.
Yes,
You have
yes,
sold me now. Okay, now I wish I had started journaling 30 years ago. 'Cause I
yes.
mean, a lot of people in my life have passed. We've
Mhm.
all lost people that are important to us, and those memories of being fresh, being able to go back to remember that weekend in New York with mom, that would be so special.
Yeah. Well, the awesome thing about journaling too is you can actually go back and look at that archived information that you were able to write down, and you
Mhm.
can write a book about it if you wanted to.
Mm,
It's already written and all
true.
it has to be is just typed up. The date's there and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're moving into screaming. Where does this come from? I don't see you as being so angry that you scream,
Oh
you know?
gosh. So screaming has always been my thing. I had
Really?
a Yeah, I loves to scream. I love it. I love screaming because I used to be notorious. I used to watch horror movies, believe it or not. Um, I used to be an advocate of, you know, fair ride to ride the crazy rides.
Yeah,
And like my parents would be down there like, that's Dina. She's
that's
up there.
right.
That's my daughter. I hear her up there screaming. So because I always were,
Adrenaline rush,
yes,
you were all in for
yes,
all of
get it
life, right?
out, get it
Yeah.
out. Sometimes I would leave the fair and I almost didn't have a voice left in me from screaming. And so the wonderful thing about it is I still like doing it sometimes. It's just awesome just to, get it out, right? Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, then also from the perspective of just, enjoying girls, enjoy screaming, being a cheerleader. Your kids are playing sports. You're out there helping the referee out.
Yeah, screaming, you know.
They may have missed the call. I need to help him.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure he appreciates us
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, just screaming
Oh,
out. But then, in my life too, I had times where I just needed to scream because my life was so crazy, and I'm like, this cannot be happening to me,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And I just had to let it out from the depths of my stomach.
yeah.
That this is just, it's totally, totally dysfunctional, and I was able to scream about that too. And so the wonderful thing about it is now my screams are screams of joy and praise and worship and just letting my daddy know how much I love him and all that he's blessed us and done for us. So more of my screams are more of happiness and excitement about what God's doing in our lives. So it's awesome.
I look at that word and instantly I think negative, sadness, pain, terror, and you take the word and you find the full meaning 360 of it screaming. Yes, when
Yeah.
my boys came home this past weekend and it was all I could do not to just squeal with
Uh-huh.
happiness. And that's yes, I get that.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
great.
I know I've had like, I think one or two, well, actually two, praise and prayer and praise parties with my Women Connect sessions where we come in and we'll pray together on certain topics that the women want to talk about and pray about. And then we just turn music on as loud as we want it and we just dance. Daughters of
Awesome.
the Most High God just dancing around and celebrating, right? And if you look through scripture, there's so many times where people danced and celebrated God,
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
know when I was growing up, I definitely used to go to the club and I would be
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
dancing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, but I've learned now, I have a new dance partner, different theme of music, but still
Yeah,
have fun and just enjoy God, enjoy life, right? He's blessed us too
yeah.
much to be sad.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I used to work at a place and we had to sign a contract that we weren't gonna dance, I'm like, "Listen, if this is like a sexual thing, anybody who's ever seen me dance will not that is not gonna be an issue, but to dance in his glory is like, yes,
Yes, yes.
And I think Jesus, he just rejoices in that
Mhm.
complete, like, childlike, "This is for you," you
Yes,
know?
the total
Um,
freedom, right?
yeah,
A total
yeah, yeah.
celebrating Yeah, it's really,
I
really
love it.
awesome. Really awesome.
Alright, the one that I struggle with the most on this list, run.
Oh.
'Cause I instantly think,
Well,
"Working out."
yes, yes. Well, being in the military, that was one of my requirements. So I ran often
Yes.
and my mindset used to always be, especially if I was taking a physical training test, let me get this run over with because I am not going to fail because I'm not doing this again.
Right,
But
wow, yeah,
times that in preparation for the run, and then oftentimes when I was going through various things, it was such a blessing to get out and go run. Of course, running the military, people can just run, and then oftentimes we run in cadence, right? Where
right.
you're singing some form of song to keep you on beat with your left foot and your right foot, and just running, right? And so I soon learned how to just go out there and just run, whether it was running and walking simultaneously or just getting out and just being able to release and talk to God. Sometimes it's good, even through COVID, to get out and feel the heat on your face from the sun, right? Or be
Yes.
outside and see the beautiful moon and the stars. And God created every creation that's around us, and feel a breeze on your face, whether it's at the beach, but it's just
Mhm,
getting out there in the presence of God's creation and just
mm,
loving on him and feeling his presence and his life through our veins, right? And so
mhm,
it's really, really good. And so oftentimes too, I used to be notorious for, if things weren't going right, I'd get in my car and I'd drive. Just turn the music on and drive and
yeah,
blast it up with my theme song for that day. And then after that I could come back into the house and cope, and
mm,
my second command in the military, when things were crazy. At one point, I had a command with 300 soldiers, 300 soldiers, and it would get so crazy. And my first sergeant would say, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And I was like, "I'll be okay in a minute." And I'd walk out to the back when nobody was back there, and I'd get a good scream,
yeah,
and I said, "I'm gonna go for a run," or whatever it would take. And all these things are just different mechanisms of expression. of, that God has given us, gift us with being able to write, being able to cry out to him, being able to run, enjoy life, scream if you have to. He gave us the ability to scream. Not every
Yeah.
creation can make a loud shout, right? He wants us to rejoice and praise him, shout at the top of our voice, to give him glory. And so all these things he's given us the ability to do. And so definitely I take advantage of every one of them, especially the last one.
I want to get to the last one, but you know what? Before we move past run, I think about something you said one time, and I think about it often, more than you would believe. You talk about how in the hardest times that you had to run, you had to dig deep, and it was some
Oh,
of the hardest things. Like, oh my gosh, I mean, what is it that we do that conjures up the very best by being in the hardest place that we're in? Like, don't try to escape that. That's what I learned from you. When
yes.
dig deep.
Oh, yes. Yes,
You
yes,
know?
yes. And he gives us the grace and the ability to do it. And, it wasn't until my latter years, if that makes any sense, that I really understood grace. Oftentimes I didn't understand grace, which is God gives us the ability to do things that we cannot do with our own strength, right? Within our own strength.
Yeah. Yes.
So those times when I had to dig deep, he was really giving me the grace, because if I really thought about it and thought through it, I wouldn't have been able to conquer it, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so if you could think of the most worst time in your life where you just didn't feel like getting up, or you didn't feel like you could go on, but God gave you and blessed you with the grace, the ability to do it. The word says he will not put more on you than you can bear. And
Mhm.
now when you look back at it, you're like, wow, how did I get through that?
Yeah, that
How
was
did
by
how
God's grace.
by God's grace. And
Yeah.
each of us can look at something in our lives and think about it. Just think a couple weeks ago, after your little kitten situation or whatever, the pain,
Tripped over the cat. Yeah, yeah.
the pain that you were in. Look at
Oh,
you
yeah.
now. You know what I'm
I know.
saying?
You gotta get through it. It's the process of taking
Yes,
time and going, "I'm not gonna be able to rush through this. No matter
right,
I can't will my back to be better. It's
right,
just gonna you're just gonna have to go through the process every day."
right. And then I'm constantly now saying, God, in that moment, what is going to be my attitude?
Mhm.
And what are you trying to teach me? Even if
Yeah.
it's just slowing you down, there's
Yeah.
something that's
Yes.
getting my attention. You know what I
Yes.
mean? What am I, am I supposed to learn from this? Am I supposed to grow? Or do you want me to meet somebody?
Get rid of the
What
cat. What am I supposed to do?
I'm blaming
No.
on the cat.
No, my husband get rid of me first before the cat went, but yeah.
Yeah, but
No, you're right though. What's the bigger picture? God, what are you trying to get my attention? Am I supposed to just feel some calm? Am I supposed to just meditate? Am I supposed to be focused? Am I focusing on the wrong things? Am I too busy in my life?
right. So you
Mhm.
got some rest, right?
Yeah,
Your
I
husband
did.
got a
I did.
chance to wait on you, right?
You
That was a
know,
good thing.
honestly, it was like 3 weeks, and I mean, it's the most he ever waited on me, and it that in itself was its own process because I don't complain about it, I don't mind, I actually enjoy serving him, and it's not I'm the little lady type of thing, it brings me
Right,
joy, I like doing it, and
right.
and the first couple days I saw he really struggled because it's a lot of physical work, but then
Mhm,
he leaned into it, and
mhm.
I think sometimes you need to see that in your spouse, like, what if something really catastrophic happens?
Yeah.
Are we really in this for better or for worse, for thicker,
Nurture it.
for richer,
Yeah.
thicker,
Or
richer, for
or
poor? You know,
Yes,
like,
sickness
can
and
you
in
do
health.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well,
So,
and
it's
that's awesome. It's really
yeah,
awesome, and it allows you not only for him to have a heart to serve, but you have a heart of appreciation, right?
yeah, yeah, that is
Yeah,
true. Alright,
yeah.
let's move into the ice cream part here because when we're talking about digging deep, I'm a good one when it comes digging deep for ice cream.
Oh, I know. And so, ice cream is one of my foods that sometimes I reward myself, or my comfort, right? So some people may take a
Yeah.
drink of wine, some people may smoke a cigarette,
Yep,
for me with ice cream,
it's Rocky
pralines and cream
Road.
ice cream, that's Rocky Road, I'm pralines and cream ice cream. And so, but yeah, it was one of my things that I would do, even a small little half a pint. And when things were crazy, I would get a pint of ice cream, or we like time to go make a Baskin Robbins run, time to go get some ice cream somewhere. And it was
Yes.
just soothing, it was really good. My parents love ice cream after meals,
Yeah.
and so, but yeah, that was my thing to do. And I think for me, I had to learn whether it was crying, was journaling, as I mentioned before, screaming, laughing, running, or eating ice cream. All of those things are temporary, but the love of Christ is eternal. And
Yes.
so in everything, they're temporary solutions, right?
Yeah.
To help me out or help us go through or temporarily fix the problem. But when you wrap all of those up and put a bow on it, nothing can beat Jesus. Nothing can beat
That's
his giving. Nothing
that's
can beat his
right.
love.
The
You know
best
what I'm
of what we have here on earth is not gonna be better than what he's given to us.
saying? Exactly. I
You
can't
know
scream it away, cry it away, run it away, eat it away.
wow.
He's the best. He's awesome.
Just okay, so cry, journal, scream, laugh, run, or eat ice cream. Um, it just shows me the beauty of women and the
Mhm.
different emotions. And I don't mean like, I'm not trying to make this a man woman thing or whatever, but I mean, we are different. And my
Mhm.
husband he would look at this list and go, cry, journal, scream, laugh, run, or eat ice cream. I'm going to go catch the game. I just do not relate to this. As a woman, I can pour myself into each one of those words and go, I need to be there. I have been there and I'm going to be there again. And you're saying that's not just okay, but it's healthy and good.
Right. Each one of those are action words, right? Of eating something, running, laughing, screaming, journaling, crying are action words. And
Yeah.
we take for granted some of the things that we do each day to get us through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm saying we cannot stay stuck. We cannot remain stuck. God has made us to be overcomers, right?
Hmm.
Whether some people say, put your big girl panties on, get that cry up, you can't have a pity party or whatever, we want to
Yeah.
have. You can't stay there. God
Right.
expects more from us.
Do
He's
something.
do something. He's
Yeah.
already died on the cross. He's sitting at the right hand of the Father right now saying, okay, I've given you all power and authority. Now, what are you going to do with it? And so those are just an aspect that we can follow or something we may do temporarily, but we have
Mm.
so much more inside of us.
We're
We're
overcomers.
overcomers.
We're overcomers.
Exactly.
Boom.
Yes, we're overcomers, and that's what he expects from us.
Ah, I love it. Yolanda, thank you so much.
Yes.
This is great. I love just the title of the show was so intriguing. I couldn't wait to dive in. And man, you had so much depth behind each word. So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
you're
Yeah.
more than welcome. I'll
Thank you.
talk to you later.
Have a good one. We'll catch you on the next show. Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Real Talk with Yolanda Frazier. Please subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Remember, she will be sharing informative words of inspiration, encouragement, and knowledge. You can contact Yolanda by visiting her website at www.enough3e.org, where you can check out her videos and blogs and get in contact with her directly for more information.